welcome back to Middle-earth Quest. We are about to begin the game, and the turn reference has Sauron going first, and there are 6 steps in the Sauron turn, which we'll be covering in this video. The first one is called the Hero Rally Step, and what that means is, here's Eleanor in Minas Tirith. If a hero is in a location with an influence token, all of the influence tokens from the location the hero is in are removed from the board. Unless the hero is in a shadow stronghold, then the influence tokens do not get removed from the board. So that's basically all there is to the Hero Rally Step. That's the first part of Sauron's turn. So that's very quickly done here. Both Argalad and Eleanor are starting the game in Havens. There's no influence there, nor can there ever be influence placed in Haven locations. So we're just not going to worry about that right now. So I'm just going to move the camera up a little bit. Next up is called the Story Step. Now, on the very first turn of the game, which is happening right now, we skip this, but I'll explain how it works. The Story Step has to do with the little tokens at the top of the board. Of course, the green tree token is for the hero players. And every turn except for the first one, which is now, the green token will move up 2 spaces. And the 3 which represent Sauron tokens go up according to the plot cards in play. So if we have a starting plot, of course, right now for Sauron, the helmet corruption symbol token would move up 1 space on the board, except we skip it at the beginning of the turn. Alright, so that's how the story step works. And next we're going to get into the plot step, which is number 3 for Sauron's turn, and we'll get into that in just a second. Alright, so next up in the Sauron play order, we have something called the plot step, and this has to do with Sauron and his plot cards. Now, he has one of 2 options during his plot step. He can either remove a plot from one of his 3 plot spaces, or he can play a new plot into one of his free spaces. He cannot replace a plot with another one. So, and of course that is also skipped in the first turn, which is now, so we're not going to do that. But in future turns, Sauron will have that choice, and he does not have to do that either. He can skip it. So that's number 4, number 3, the plot step. Number 4 is going to be the event step. So I'm going to readjust the camera again, and we'll have our first event of the game. Alright, so now we are moving into the event phase. Now we are in phase 1 of the game, as indicated up here on the board. All of our tokens are still back here, so we're considered to be in phase 1. So we are going to be looking at this deck, which has the number 1 on it, and we are going to have an event occur. Now, one thing we need to look at in the game is called dominance. Whichever marker is farthest along on the track is considered to have dominance. If all the markers are in equal space. So the Free People's player, of course, has the tree token, represented by, this one here. And Sauron has the other 3, the ring, the helmet, and the red mustering symbol tokens. So right now they're all in the same place. So what we do for an event is we just draw the top event off the deck. If one player had dominance, we would draw 3 cards. So if the hero players had the dominant token, which means theirs was farthest along on the track, we draw 3 and take the lowest numbered event. If Sauron was ahead, we would draw 3 and take the highest number event. And we'll see how that happens later. But right now they're tied, so we're just going to look at 1, the very top card, and we're going to do that event. So here we are. Let's see what it is. And it says it is the Courage of Erkenbrand. And you can see here the numbers in 8. Doesn't mean anything right now, but it will when we start drawing 3 cards and determining dominance later in the game. So it says, there in the Hornburg at Helm's Gate, Erkenbrand, master of Westfold, on the border of the Mark, now dwelt. As the days darkened with threat of war, being wise, he had prepared the wall and made the fortress strong. So that's from the 2 towers. It says the heroes may remove up to 3 influence monster tokens from Rohan, or place 1 favor in Helm's Deep. while Rohan on the board is represented, I believe, by 6 the darkish blue symbols. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 locations in Rohan. Sorry, 7, including Isengard. Because there are no influence and no monsters in the area right now, of course the players are not going to choose the first option, which is remove 3 influence monster tokens from Rohan. Instead, they're going to place 1 favor in Helm's Deep. So, Helm's Deep, of course, being right here, a favor token goes down. So when a player character, now either Eleanor or Arcalad, enters Helm's Deep and does an explore action, they can retrieve that favor token. So this is the mechanism to get favor tokens on the board, is through these encounter cards and other means. Now there's another part to the encounter card, and it's at the bottom. So we're going to place a character figure on the board, and we're going to place a favor on the board. So right now it says Theoden is going to be placed in the plains of Rohan. So we find the Theoden token up in the area. This is him here, and we're going to place him in the plains of Rohan. And so the plains, did it say? Yes, plains of Rohan are right here. I guess to explain a little bit about these tokens, you can see here there's a number 2 with an influence symbol. If you interact with this character, you can either choose to take 2 influence or gain a horse item. You have an option. So a hero, Eleanor or Argalad, need to go to his location, interact with him during an explore, and they can choose either to get 2 influence tokens or gain a horse item. So he is now in the plains of Rohan to be interacted with. So that's how characters show up on the board. And lastly, we have a favor token to be placed in Dunland. And you see they're color coded. So this is dark blue, so we know the location to place him. This was a yellow one, and a favor is going to go in Dunland. So in the yellow region of the board, which I believe is, what is the yellow region? Enedwaith. We're going to place a favor token in Dunland. So let me see if I can find that, and if it's showing up on the board, and it is definitely within camera. Dunland is right here. So another favor token appears here. So now there are some favor tokens that the heroes can go around the board and collect. And we have our first character, Theoden, out on the board in the plains of Rohan. So that is our event step for Sauron. I guess it's not really Sauron's turn, it's just how things unfold in the game. So I'm just going to put that on the bottom of the deck to keep things a little bit easier. And there you have it. That is our event step. Next, we're going to have the action step. So this is where Sauron is going to perform his actions. And of course, I'll have to explain that a little bit, readjust the camera, and get to doing that. Alright, so here we are in the Sauron acts. You can see Sauron actions here. He has 3 choices. He can either use this space, or this space. And in a 3-player game, he is going to be able to place 2 of his tokens down in any of the free spaces here. So I guess just to get into it briefly, this is going to be used to gain influence, to be placed in the shadow pool and or on the board. This action space is used to draw plot cards and shadow cards. And this location on the far right is used to activate, either place monsters on the board, move minions on the board, or move monsters on the board, or heal a wounded minion on the board if they're not in a space with a hero. I know, a ton of rules, but bear with me. So the first action that Sauron's going to take, he takes one of his little lidless eye tokens. I'm going to do an influence action, and you always place the token to the farthest left that you can, and these tokens remain on here until you place the 4th one, which would remain on the action space. The other 3 come off. So that's the mechanism. We're not going to see that happen, of course, this turn, because he's only placing 2. So I'm placing it here on the number 6, and that means Sauron can collect 6 influence tokens. And now it says you gain, X number of influence tokens. We've covered up to 6. We get 6. You may place up to 2 of those in the shadow pool. This is our shadow pool. Already started with 2 in it. I could place another 2, and I'm going to do that. So 1, 2. Now, because we are in the first phase of the game, I can no longer place any more shadow tokens in the shadow pool until we reach phase 2, and then I'll be able to start populating like 5, 6, 7, 8. And this allows me to play cards that have now either a 4 value or lower. So shadow cards, we see here the one discarded has a 4 on it. So now Sauron will be able to play a card that has 4 power or less. Same with plot cards. Plot cards have numbers in the upper left corner, same as shadow cards. I'll be able to play a plot card now next turn, of course, that has a 4 or less. Now that still leaves Sauron with 4 influence markers to place on the board, and I think I'm just going to continue spreading out from Barad-dûr right here. Or Sauron is, because he has nefarious plans, of course, and he's going to put 1 on the Dead Marshes. And I should mention, you have to connect to the Shadow Stronghold, so there has to be a contiguous line between them, so you can't just place, say, a token up here because there's none here. So you have to chain your influence together. So let's go ahead and he's going to place 1 on Emmet Mule. He's really spreading out thinly, but he may have a plan. He's going to place 1 on Dagolad, and he is going to place 1 on Minas Morgul. All right, so he's very thinly spread, but he has a lot of tokens out on the board. All right, what he wants to do next, he gets 2 actions, of course. So for his second action, he is going to play this command minions. And you see there's a 3 here. So it says command up to X minions. So 3 minions / monster tokens. You may not place more than 1 monster token. So he is going to place a monster on Emmet Mule. And you can only place monsters on places that have influence tokens. So we're going to grab the top monster token. Now Sauron gets to look at this, and it may be blank, it may be an actual monster. You as the player do not know. Of course Sauron knows. He places a token here. So now there is possibly a monster, or at least a rumor of a monster, in Emmet Mule in this location. So if a player character now moves through this location, he's going to have to encounter this monster. Okay? Not too complicated, but I guess a little bit. Now, he still has 2 activations of minions. I have the Mouth of Sauron up here, and I have the Black Serpent down here. So I'm going to move the Black Serpent, gets to move 2 spaces per each activation, and they just ignore any symbols. So I'm actually going to move him up to Osgiliath right here. Boom. He's hanging around Osgiliath now, just outside Minas Tirith. And I'm going to move the Mouth of Sauron 1 space up to, wow, I'm not going to pronounce that properly, Rosgobal. And I probably have him right off camera. So he's going from Dol Guldur, and he's going to move 1 space up here. So that's 3 activations. I've moved the Black Serpent, I've moved the Mouth of Sauron, and I have placed a monster token. So now Sauron's actions are finished. He gets 2. So he got influence, he moved minions, and placed 1 monster. So with that finished, the only thing left to do now is we're going to, the last phase of the Sauron turn is to draw. It's called the draw hero, the hero draw step, where the heroes are going to draw cards. So we're going to have to transition over to the hero area now, draw up their cards, and then that will conclude this video. I know I'm probably, it's going to be, this one's not very long because we skipped a couple of phases because it's the first turn. But let's go to the heroes, draw up their cards, which will prep them for their turns in the next upcoming videos. Okay, so I'm going to start with Eleanor. And again, I'm using the little Scrabble tile boards here. And we are going to take a look at how drawing cards works. Again, they have their 25 life pool cards. And what we look at is their fortitude number. Now, Eleanor's fortitude number is 6. And so she has a 6 fortitude, which means she can draw 6 cards. And it even says here on the player card, fortitude cards drawn at the end of Sauron's turn. So she takes her life pool, and she's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's going to draw 6 cards. Of course, the rest remain in her life pool. And we're going to take a look at them. So we have a couple melee cards. We have 3 ranged cards, another melee. Now, how these cards operate, as I mentioned a little bit before, there are symbols on the bottom right corner. So we have Tree of Gondor, or we have a hill symbol, we have forest symbol, we have sunshine symbols, or plains symbols, I think they're supposed to be. So when Eleanor takes her turn and she's going to move, she's going to start spending these cards for movement. So just place them up here so that they're easily seen and we know what they are. So that is Eleanor drawing cards. I'm just going to pan out a little bit. Argolad's going to do the same thing. However, his fortitude is not quite as much as high as Eleanor's. His fortitude is 5, so he's going to draw 5 cards. So let me just readjust the camera a little bit and we'll draw Argolad's cards. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is each time I go to a different character, I'm just going to set up like this so that we can see them a little better. So here we have Argolad, and we're going to draw, he has a fortitude number of 5, so he is going to be able to draw 5 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for him. The rest of his pile goes in the stack. And he has, of course, he has different symbols, and he is a much more of a ranged character. I didn't explain this, so I'm going to talk a little bit about it. You can see his deck. There are 4 blue dots here, 1 red. It means of his 25 cards, 20 of them are ranged cards, 5 of them are melee cards. I'll just quickly show you Eleanor here, a little bit different. She has 3 blue and 2 red, so 15 of her cards are ranged cards, and 10 of them are melee. So she's a little more melee, a more melee character, and Argolad a little more ranged character. So he has picked 5 cards. He has 2 trees of Gondor for movement. He has a mountain, a plain, another tree of Gondor. Wow, he has no forest, and he's in the woodland realm. But anyway, we'll show you how movement works, of course, when we get to our next episode. So I'm just going to put my cards, of course, here. Open information for people watching along, and that's how that works. So I'm gonna, of course, I'm gonna end the episode here. That is the opening turn of Middle-earth Quest. So Sauron has done all of the actions in the Sauron turn. Next video, we're going to do the hero turn. And we're going to start with Eleanor. So the next video will be Eleanor's hero turn, and the video after that will be Argolad's hero turn, and then I will just continue releasing videos as quickly as I can. It's holiday season right now, so things are extremely busy. I will get them out as quickly as possible, of course, and I hope you're enjoying the play along and maybe learning a little bit of the rules and just how awesome this game really is, because it is quite a good little cat and mouse Sauron versus the heroes game. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Join me next time when we're going to be doing Eleanor's hero turn, and we'll see what transpires when she takes her turn. All right, thanks so much for watching.